Her shoes straight was hooker. Don't play, I cook you with shaking sugar. I'm getting cake, fatty, chatty, bacon, mugger. She said she hate a pusher. I said I hate a booger. A snotty attitude, she laugh. I purple hazed and cushed her. My charm captured her.
Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Today we're taking a look at a designer fragrance, and a designer fragrance that I don't think is yet available in the United States. It's called CH Prive from the house of Carolina Herrera. I'm not gonna lie, I know nothing virtually about Carolina Herrera, neither as a designer really or that much as a fragrance house. It's just a brand that I don't, or none of my friends wear. I think they're much more known as a women's house and not a men's house, at least in terms of fashion. And this is the third that I own from the house. The other two that I own are to be what I find to be the very overrated CH Man and 212. On my to purchase list, I would like to get 212 VIP and Chic, and then I would like to look at some of the more upscale releases they're planning on, sort of their private line. But before we talk about this fragrance, let's talk about Carolina Herrera. Carolina Herrera is a Venezuelan-born designer. She established her fashion house in 1980. She was a socialite in New York in the 70s and was hanging out at Studio 54 with Mick and Bianca Jagger and Andy Warhol, and she was just impeccably dressed all the time. She made an international best dress list in 1972. And so she had this friend named Diana Freeland, who was the chief editor over at Vogue at the time, and she said, listen, you got the juice, do your own line. And Carolina did it. She had samples made in Caracas, Venezuela, because production was a lot cheaper. She showed the line at a friend's house in Manhattan, and a really hip, small, expensive boutique on Park Avenue called Martha's decided to carry her clothing. It did well. She went back to Caracas and made more, and then she did her first runway show in 1980, and Iman was the first model to wear Carolina Herrera at a show. So it really is a New York brand. Carolina Herrera is based in New York, which I really like. The house has received a ton of accolades over the years, and interestingly enough, Herrera pieces are often, more than not, regarded for their sleeves, which are really well designed. In the late 1980s, the Spanish firm Antonio Puig, which does fragrances for so many houses like Prada and Zara and Valentino and Comme des Garçons, they licensed the name for fragrances. And in 1995, Puig actually acquired the Carolina Herrera fashion business as well, retaining Herrera as creative director. In 2008, they launched a ready-to-wear line called CH, and as of today, there are 18 Carolina Herrera boutiques across the world, and the line is in 208 stores in 104 countries. Her daughters now really work at the firm doing design and creative director tasks. Now, in the fragrance line, there are about 60 fragrances. The first was released in 1988. It was just called Carolina Herrera for Women, and the latest that I know about are their higher end lines. They have two higher end lines. One of the lines is called Herrera Confidential, and the other is called Herrera Confidential Oils. But today, guys, we're talking about CH Prive, which is one of the newer flankers of this CH collection. Also recently released were CH Africa and CH Grand Tour. Now, the original CH was released in 2009. This flanker came out in 2015. I believe it is only currently available in Europe. And the notes on this one are pomelo, whiskey, and grapefruit at the top, frozen lavender, sage, red thyme, and cardamom in the middle, leather, tonka bean, benzoin in the base. Now, this one comes in a couple of sizes. You could get a 50 ml, you could get a 100 ml. I got my 50 ml for $65 on eBay. It was shipped to me from Spain, where Puig is based, and I'm definitely, just so you guys know, I'm definitely going to make a push to review newer designer releases in the future, and specifically ones that might be hard to get in the United States. I think that I could serve a lot of value doing that for you guys. Presentation on this guy. So your box, CH Men Prive. It's gold. It's black with shiny gold writing. On the bottom, you have your barcode and whatnot. top, the CH. The bottle I don't like. It's a little chintzy, and not really chintzy, but like this piece, you could sort of hear that. Like I mean, I applaud the fact that it's hinged so that you could do that, but it makes a weird noise and it just feels cheap, and the plastic cap feels cheap. This is plastic. It's very light plastic. I just don't think they did a great job. I think the original CH Men actually has a better bottle, believe it or not. It's heavier. And the atomizer on this one does work okay. So I don't love the presentation. I don't think it's awful, but I don't think it's that nice either. And this, by the way, is EDT in concentration. So first thing I'll say about this one, guys, is that I don't love the original. I think it's a fairly good designer scent, but I don't think it's anything special. To me, it's synthetic. And for me, the leather note doesn't pop that much. I like this one better, but this one isn't breaking new ground. It's sort of a herbal, boozy scent with tonka and leather. It reminds me, to be quite honest with you guys, of an updated version of La Nuit de l'Homme by YSL. And when this one opens up, you're going to get booze. To me, it's almost more of a dark rum than I would say whiskey. There's a little bit of citrus there as well, which is probably from the pomelo. And with that, you're going to get a lot of tonka. I mean, the tonka is really what this one is about. It's there throughout the life of the scent. The main difference between this and the original, I would say, like really the only real difference, is that in the original, the sweet note is sort of a sugary, almost caramel accord with the leather. And here it's tonka, booze, some citrus, some lavender with the leather. That's really what this one is about. If that sounds up your alley, this one will be for you. For me though, I think there are some fundamental issues that were not cleaned up from the original. And one of those issues is that the performance isn't that great. It's not an EDP flanker, and the notes are still a little too synthetic for me. It doesn't have that sort of niche quality to it. But just think about this one sort of as the original, but instead of that sugarcane note, think about a little bit of citrus, booze, and tonka, and you really have your fragrance. It's not really a complex or complicated fragrance. Performance isn't bad, but it's not great either for me. This one is a skin scent really right off the bat. It doesn't have longevity problems. It lasts for a good 8 hours, but it really never does so with authority. I think it's better suited to men, but of course anyone can pull off any scent. Time of year for me, this is a cold weather fragrance, but you can rock it on cooler spring days and nights. Really, tonka heavy scents don't lend themselves to the heat, and I think this could be a go out at night scent or a date scent, and I'm sure a lot of guys will like this as a date scent. If you're unable to get your hands on this and are looking for something similar, I would say you could go with La Nuit. As I said, is sort of a little bit like this. The original CH Man is a little bit like this. Tom Ford Noir Extreme is a little bit like this. Spice Bomb, any of those sort of darker men's fragrances that are sweet and rely on tonka and some spice is going to sort of do what this one does. If someone were trying to talk you into purchasing this, I think they would tell you that it's a nice designer scent. Most men will probably really like this, and it's sort of the new breed of designer scents, which to me is better than the last breed of freshies. I kind of like these sweeter, darker scents better. If someone were trying to talk you out of purchasing this, I think they would tell you that it's part of this new breed of scents, and maybe you don't love that because you have one of these darker, sweeter scents, these darker designer scents, and if you have one, you're good. So that could sort of be a negative as well. It's also hard to find. It's not that great, and the bottle's a little chintzy. As you could probably tell, this really isn't my thing. It's not a bad fragrance. I was really excited looking at the note breakdown in this one, especially not loving the original. But as I said, fundamental mistakes made here. They played this too safe. They wanted a dark tonka scent, and they still really, for me, haven't stepped that leather note up enough. For me, it's a 5 out of 10. It's not bad, but for someone like me who's looking for new and exciting, this just can't hang. I feel like a lot of dudes out there will enjoy this one and look towards it in cooler weather, and that's cool. So I think this is a worthwhile release for someone. That someone just isn't me, and I think they only somewhat improved on the original. So guys, that is my review of CH Map Prive. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. If not, I will see you next week with more reviews, guys. You know what it is. My name is
Maximilian. Damn, mommy, hit the L's. Mrs. Bell got shit to tell. Sound horrific, ain't a doctor, but your son, I wish him well. Under this damn pressure, she looked at me, I looked at her, and then